What is up, you guys? We are going to talk about reverse dieting. I'm going to share a little bit about my current reverse diet, what's next for me, and all the best strategies and tips so that you can have an amazing reverse diet, why you would want to do this in the first place, what a reverse diet is, but particularly in the context of bikini competitors, bodybuilders, because we are the individuals who are most often doing reverse diets, but these can be for anyone who's had a prolonged period of being in a calorie deficit. So before we jump into everything, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with a friend, and let's jump right into it. Let's start with just a little, where am I at? I'm reverse dieting. We just made the decision, and by we, I mean my coach Jamie and I just made the decision this week to not push forward with the show on October 7th. We were gonna do the Southern Muscle Showdown in Dalton, Georgia. And ultimately, the feedback I was getting from the judges, and I got very sick last week, just made it not the best idea to push forward. I still need to add more size, get even bigger to be more competitive in the bikini division. So I've been dieting since the beginning of April. Today is now September 29th. So it has been a solid 6 months of being in a calorie deficit, dieting, doing cardio, pushing my body really hard, and it's just time to take a break. So what happens, or what is a reverse diet? Essentially, it's what it sounds like. It's undoing the process of being in a calorie deficit. So you want to slowly pull back on any cardio you're doing, slowly add back in calories so that, number one, your metabolism can recover. Whenever we are dieting, our metabolism does come down. Think about it this way. For very easy math, let's just use a round number of 150 pounds. Let's say you're a 150-pound bikini competitor like myself, and let's say your basal metabolic rate at that weight is about 1,500 calories a day. As you diet down to 140 pounds, your basal metabolic rate is gonna come down. It's gonna come down to about, let's say 1,400, just to use an easy number, right? So now all of a sudden your metabolism is lower, and your body naturally does that as a survival mechanism. It will slow down your breathing rate, it will slow down the rate that your organs are functioning, all of those things. Your heart will beat slower, so literally you are expending less calories to conserve energy. It is a time where things can be challenging because typically our hunger is very high. As we diet and we lose body fat, our hunger hormone ghrelin comes up, and our satiety, our fullness hormone leptin, which is stored and generated in our body fat, comes down. So you feel less full when you eat, you feel more hunger all the time. And it can be very hard coming out of a dieting phase to continue to be focused because we're tired of being hungry, especially as competitors where we're really pushing our body to an extreme. And don't get me wrong, it's a challenging time, and what I encourage anyone is first to see the reverse diet as an extension of your prep. If you were, say, on a lifestyle plan or something more gentle, you're probably not in as extreme of a scenario, hopefully, but you never know. So kind of try to see it as an extension of the dieting process. Imagine that the work is not done. And I've had my own challenges right now, seeing my body start to retain water, seeing body fat come back on, and remember too, the next tip is you have to love yourself during this process too, especially if you're a competitor. You have to show up for yourself. You have to prioritize loving on yourself, not breaking yourself down mentally. So try to, as best you can, quiet any negative self-talk that you're having, hype yourself up, use affirmations, spend time with loved ones, whatever it is that helps you feel your best. And for me, I think this is now, if I'm counting correctly, I believe this is now my 8th reverse diet, meaning I've completed 8 preps. And what I used to say in the past is I had completed 7 reverse diets. 6 of the 7 were awesome. 1, I kind of lost my mind. So just know that all of us have been there too. My first season as a pro did not go well. I had a sprained ankle. My mom was having health issues, and I ordered all of these specialty cookies that were like geared towards competitors. And I ate so many cookies, you guys, to the point where I was like getting sick to my stomach. I was getting more shipments in the mail that I'd even remembered that I bought. And I was like giving them away left and right, throwing perfectly good cookies away to save myself from them. It was not a good scenario. And that's another piece of this too. Your mind and your mental state are gonna dictate your outcome. So we can be in a very fragile place mentally when we're finishing up a season, when we're finishing up a show prep. And right now, you know, I'm just kind of getting my reverse fully started. We just made that determination that it's time for off season. But I've been struggling mentally, and the biggest reason why is my season, it just didn't go how I wanted. I felt very sad, to be honest. I felt very kind of disappointed in myself. Like I'd honestly, there's a big part of me that feels like I let not just myself down, but also my coaches and my mentors and trainers, clients, and anyone that believes in me. You guys on YouTube, I feel like I just let everyone down by not placing better. And that's probably not the right attitude to have, but it's how I felt. So I'm working on shifting my mindset, doing what I can to get myself in a good place. So just remember, with reversing, your mental state is going to dictate so much. So if you are not good up here, you cannot expect your body to also be in a good place. Your mind directs where your body goes. So do whatever you can to keep things positive and happy. The first main thing is you want to have that plan. So ideally you have a coach, or maybe if you're an experienced trainer or coach yourself, you can set your macros or create that meal plan to gradually ramp up the calories. But you want that plan like the night the show is over, the very next day. You do not want lots of time to be going by where you can just eat whatever. There's not a specific structure. You need specific directions right away. And with all my clients, they get their reverse diet plans either before their show has happened, the night of their show, or at the very latest, the very next day, like the very next morning after their show, they have their reverse diet instructions. So that is huge. And like I said, you want to treat this as an extension of your prep. The work is not done. A big thing with the mental state, like I mentioned, and I'm having my own struggles, and it's something I want to share with you guys, because as pros, we're human too. You know, just because we made it to the pro league or we look amazing on stage does not mean that we are invincible by any means. And so I really do want to just be transparent and share with you guys, because if I can give value or support or have someone feel like they relate to me in some way, hopefully I'm helping and just providing valuable content. So I do want to be transparent and share. It hasn't been easy for me, but what I am going to be doing and what I've done already is you want to set other goals outside of just competing. So I have a little list on my phone that I created earlier this week of all the things I wanted to do shifting into an off season. So some of those things were things as simple as I wanted to set up a photo shoot with a specific photographer that I liked. I want to go take a trip to Las Vegas. I like going to Vegas and going and checking out the bodybuilding gyms and that scene there, and enjoying a lot of the yummy food that they have at the Vegas restaurant. So that's one thing on my list. I want to spend time with certain friends and catch up with certain people that I haven't had time for over these last few months. So whatever that is for you, and I've got more goals than I know what to do with, but having those things is gonna get you excited. It's gonna get you feeling happy. And something as simple as just like planning a vacation. You know, you just worked your butt off maybe in a competition prep. So, you know, give yourself a little bit of a break. Like whatever that is, to have something to look forward to, make sure you're creating those goals and creating things to look forward to outside of just competitions. One of the reasons why these reverse diets can be so tricky is, like I said, we come out of these shows really hungry. Our leptin is low, our ghrelin is high, we've been dieting for a long time. So if you are finding yourself really hungry, you know, that initial reverse phase, that first like week or two is probably gonna be harder than by the time you're, you know, 4, 8, 12 weeks post-show, when you've got more calories and less cardio to work with. So that initial phase, what I find really does help me is adding volume into your meals, which is something you may have been doing during your prep. And I don't recommend going crazy, like, you know, giant cups of vegetables and things like that. But what I will do is, like, let's say I'm having chicken and rice. I might throw in a handful of shredded lettuce. I might throw in an extra handful of green beans or asparagus or just vegetables, things like that, to up the volume of my foods. Instead of rice, I might choose to have butternut squash, which is a carb, but because it's a little lower calorie than rice, I can have about double the volume. So it fills up your stomach a little better. You feel a little more full, a little more satisfied. So increasing your volume of your meals to a reasonable extent can also be very, very helpful. The last tip I want to share too is with reverse dieting, and I tell my clients this, and I use this rule with myself too, is we don't have to be perfect the way you kind of have to be perfect when you're in your competition prep, right? When we're in a prep, every little detail, every little calorie, grain of rice matters. When you're in a reverse, you want to give it your best effort. You want your body to be healthy. You want your metabolism to recover. You want your hormones to rebalance. However, if you go a little crazy one night, eat a little extra chicken, a little extra steak, a little extra rice, or even some pizza or something like that, it's not really the end of the world if you're still doing your cardio and your workouts and all of that. So if you are going to eat extra, if you find that you are having a hard time sticking with your plan, not slipping up, what I definitely recommend is eat whole foods. So eat meal prep type foods if you are really, really hungry and you are struggling to just literally stick with the reverse. Okay, your body will handle chicken, rice, and broccoli so much better than it will handle, you know, a pepperoni pizza scarfed down at midnight by yourself because you broke down after a week of trying to follow a reverse and being starving and hungry and not being able to stick with it. So remember too, that if you feel like you can't follow it, not all calories are created equal. Eating those whole foods, eating a little extra of those healthy foods that will help you feel full is gonna be way better for your body than starving yourself, feeling miserable, and then going off the rails, you know, late at night when no one else is watching, which is somehow the scenario that a lot of us competitors can find ourselves in when we are reversing or when we're slipping up on our diets. So that's the other piece. And then the last tip, and this kind of goes with having a plan, is do not stop your workouts, do not stop your cardio. Follow whatever your coach gave you. Hopefully you do get to start pulling back on your cardio, depending on your coach's approach. They may have you pull back on your workouts a little bit to bring down inflammation, bring down just training inflammation, training volume, whatever that looks like. And they may not too. They may keep your workouts the same and just say, hey, you've got more calories now, you've got less cardio. I want you to try to push a little harder in the workouts. So whatever that is, do not stop the cardio, do not stop the workouts. That is your calorie burn, that is your calorie output. So especially too, if you ever have moments where you're taking in a little more than what's on your reverse, definitely keep that cardio in, definitely keep the workouts in, step those down gradually. And overall, I just encourage you guys, when you are reversing, spend time with friends and family, foster those areas of your life that may have been lacking on a prep or in a calorie deficit, and just make sure that you're happy. You know, make sure that you're happy. Try not to focus all on food. If you've got a lot of good things in your life that you're happy about, that you're feeling good about, it's gonna be that much easier to manage. So that's really all I'm gonna say about it. I will be sharing more on, you know, my physique progress, my reverse update progress, where my macros are at here on YouTube, on Instagram, and my other social media platforms. So I'm excited to bring all of that to you guys. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's valuable. This is the time of year when a lot of us are wrapping up our show season. So I just want to share and provide as much value to the community as I possibly can. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Like the video, share it with your prep bestie, and I will catch you guys in the next video.